Well, hello there. I'm Dr. Lori Trout, Executive Director and founder of GROW, Grace Restores Overcoming Women. We are a faith-based 501(c) that serve the ladies that come out of incarceration or out of the justice system. And so today I have with me, but let me first tell you, last week we were late getting our series on because the internet was down. It was down all night. And so we couldn't post early, so I ended up having to go on high V and, and post it Wednesday morning. So we're not gone anywhere. We're still here. So today we have Christi Pennington, Mrs. Christi Pennington, who is our program assistant, and we have our alumni, Miss Kelli Russell. Miss our Kelli girl. So we're still talking about life after incarceration, how it is to transition, the difficulties the women face. And I have learned that the women seem to have a more harder time than men. There are a lot more resources available for the women, and so I am so thankful that we can help these ladies get off to a new start. So Kelli girl, what have you been doing?
I've been working.
And
I got my own place.
Oh my.
And living life.
Oh my God, I remember when you came to GROW. I was going to bring your mugshot. When I first saw it, I was coming into the house and I saw this picture on the table. I was like, what the heck? Look at you now.
Yeah.
And you were featured on Fox 4 News in regards to our GROW program.
Yes.
How has life been treating you?
Absolutely wonderful. I'm reconnected with my family and my kids and my sisters and my mom and dad. They didn't really want much to do with me before when I was incarcerated and that sort of thing. And so once I got out of incarceration and shown them that I'm actually willing to put the work in, that they were willing to be back in my life.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So when you came to GROW, I remember we were meeting with the planner or something for Gardner, and she was highly recommending you, and you were excited about it, or you were?
I was excited. I was nervous. I was very nervous. I wasn't sure what it was going to be like because it was very new.
Yeah.
Very new.
Yeah.
I think I was the second girl in the program.
Yes.
So it was very new at the time, and there wasn't a lot of information about it.
Right.
And then all I heard was they wanted to meet with me, and I had to go in front of the board, and that was like, I don't know if I could do that. But it all worked out very well.
Yeah, we were very new, and I tell you, we learned a lot along the way.
I bet.
We have been growing just as the girls have been growing.
I know, that's amazing.
It is. We have more programs in place, and we are finding our, our footing and foundation just like the girls. And so, when you came into GROW, what was it like actually?
Well, there was only one other girl there.
Yeah, true.
And so it was kind of quiet because she was very quiet and to herself, which is okay. But there was a lot of, the house was beautiful. It was a very nice house. And the support, it was very different. It was like the ladies who came in, who did the Bible studies and who, taught us classes, they wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And they were phenomenal.
That's
as
awesome.
far as the support. And I didn't have a car for 3 years because I lost my license, and so I had to depend a lot on other people for rides, to work. And everywhere you want to go, you have to find a ride. And that was, they even reached out and helped me with transportation, some of the women that, were
Did you
very
have the
supportive.
transit? Did you do that micro transit thing?
I did that a couple times.
I never did.
I did it a couple times.
I was
It was
scared.
not, they'll come pick you up right at the door, but when they, you might have to ride around for like an hour before you get to where you need to go. So it was not my first choice.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it has changed so much since then because COVID came in and all those ladies that were coming could not come anymore. So then we had to reorganize, and now we still have one of the ladies that was your volunteer or mentor. She's still Anita. I don't know if you ever met her.
Wilson?
Yep, that's
You
my
almost
mentor.
said Anita Baker.
I love Anita. She took me out to lunch one time when I went to the shack for breakfast one day.
Yep,
That's true.
we've been there. Yep.
Yeah.
She's very cool. You know who I still talk to is Darcy.
Do you really?
Yes.
Darcy disappeared.
She's finally done. She's finally done. But yes, I still talk to her.
She used to come to the houses and cook.
She did
She's
cooking
one
classes.
I never got to do that because that's when it stopped, I guess.
Yeah, she did cooking classes with us, and she was amazing. I still talk to her.
I reached out to her a couple of times, and I don't know if I have the right number or what, but I was wondering, where is she at? So she was awesome. She was awesome. So now we're just beginning to have, the last couple of months we've had volunteers coming to the house and mentors, and we have a whole new group of mentors and coaches, and tonight the ladies are meeting with Building Bridges, and they provide life coaches. They're licensed therapists and counselors through the state of Kansas, and they work with these girls, and I tell you, the girls are loving it. They work on budget, they work on their personal issues they may have, and then that in addition to volunteers or their mentors. So we're keeping them busy.
That's good.
We're keeping them busy.
Good.
Yeah, because
that is
we're
very
doing
good.
Lori and I have been doing life skills. Like Lori, me and her husband and my husband, we go to each of the house and teach them life skills. Lori taught them all how to barbecue.
Good.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the girls cooked a full meal a few weeks ago, and I was like, "Look at that!"
Wow.
Grilled a full meal. And so we've learned a lot along the way, and it's getting better, and it's only going to get better. And I thank God for the people He's surrounded us with to help us. So, Christy, you got questions for Ms. Kelli?
I do, because I know one of the biggest things that people are going to struggle with is after they get done with the transitional housing, what next? Like, what was it like for you after you left?
Well, finding housing was probably one of my biggest obstacles. Because you have to fill out applications, and you call them and you say, well, do you rent to felons? And they'll say, well, it depends, but you can come in and fill out an application. And so you spend anywhere from $35 to $50 to fill out these applications, only for them to say, no, we're not going to rent you. And so that was a huge obstacle that I went through. I didn't know what I was going to do at one point. I had pretty much given up looking for an apartment, I was like, I don't know, maybe, I really did not have a clue what I was going to do. And obviously the last place I went to, I took letters of recommendation from GROW House, from my probation officer, from my case manager, anybody that would write a letter of recommendation. I took them in there with me and handed them to the lady who rented my apartment to me, and she did tell me that's one of the only reasons that she rented to me.
So would you say that, have you kept a good rapport, with your parole officer, to where they were able to keep things?
My probation officer, it's funny that you would bring that up, because I had a mentor through probation, and last time she saw my probation officer, she said, oh, I talked to Kelli, she's doing so good, and her response was, I don't need to know that. So, some people just don't want to know.
Yeah.
So I found that was pretty interesting, because I was on probation for 2 years with her, and
But you know what? I'm wondering if that is something they are required of, not to, because I also reached out to my probation officer after the fact and was telling her about the program. So when I was seeing her, I told her what was my vision for the future, and she was excited about it and very supportive. But then when I reached out to her after the fact, I never got a response. So I don't think they can have contact with individuals after the fact. So
I think that is ethically. I don't think that they're allowed to.
They're not allowed to.
But still, she didn't have to say, I don't need to know. So, but as far as my apartments go, I'm still there. And
still in the one?
Mhm.
We did, Fox 4 came
Mhm.
there, Sheree Honeycutt did a story with her going into her apartment and everything, and yeah.
I
it was-
saw it.
Yeah,
Flip.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, you know, since then, we have made contact with an individual that we refer to after they're
really?
out, and I'll call her and say, do you have anything open? And so she'll say, okay, tell me the story, and she will
Right.
rent to them now. We've got a good working condition,
That's good.
basis with her, and so hope to keep that. The ones we've referred have done pretty good, so, but it's a challenge.
Yeah, so I'd like to find more of them
Yeah.
that like take people that have certain charges but then of course I wouldn't do my thing too, but it's just, I don't know.
I think housing is probably one of the biggest struggles from transitional living to finding permanent
Mhm.
housing. I
Mhm.
think that from what I've heard, that's the biggest obstacle most people face.
Mhm.
And then like, were you financially okay once you got out? Like, were you able to save money while you were in GROW?
I was.
Where
I
you
had a
could-
lot of fines that I had to pay off. Because I got put on probation in Indiana, so I had Indiana fines I had to pay. I had my parole fees I had to pay, and I had, probation and then treatment fees. I mean, and I was able to save up enough to get an apartment.
That's good, yeah.
So first month's rent and last month's rent deposit, all that stuff. So
Yeah, because I think a lot of people don't think about that too, like all the things you're going to get hit with as soon as you move out. You got all, you go from being in a program and then
Right.
electric bills go up. But
They're coming after you they're even seeking out the girls when they first come out of prison.
Absolutely.
And they're wanting their money, and the girls haven't even got jobs yet.
Yeah.
So that is, I've seen with several girls, $5,000 here and there, and the back child support, and they don't mind garnishing. So
no, they don't.
and it's like, come on, give them a break. Let them get settled, get a job, and then let's start working on a plan or something. But it doesn't work like that.
No, my wages were garnished when I first got out. My wages were garnished for a long time. I mean, just from different collection agencies and stuff. So I mean, it was hard, but when there's a will, there's a way.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's always good to, like they learned in their financial class a couple weeks ago, it's just like do the snowball thing, just pay the little things and then go and use that money and pay for another thing, and then that helps to where they can eventually get all that stuff paid off, and then less stress on them when they are ready to save up. So
Does Kim still do the financial classes?
No, her job transitioned her out, and so we have a budget coach from Building Bridges.
Okay.
And so that's helping the girls. So for a while, we had nobody, and so that was difficult, because again,
Right.
you get out and you're free,
Right.
you got a job, and you're able to go and spend, and so it's like, don't be caught at the end of 2 years with no money in your account.
Right.
So, but I want to say, if you're just joining us, this is Talk Tuesday, and we're here with Christi, Miss Christi Pennington, and Miss Kelli Russell, our alumni from GROW. So, you've been out of GROW how long?
About 2.5, 3 years.
Wow.
Maybe.
3 years, I think,
Yeah,
because I came in
yeah, it's
October.
probably
Yep.
been about 3 years.
And she's doing amazing. I mean, she's got a job that she loves.
I do
and
love my
that's
job.
awesome. That is awesome. And reuniting with her family and just moving on ahead. And so we would say to anybody, when you come out, don't give up that you can make it. It's gonna be difficult. You're gonna face barriers. You knew that before you came out. So when you get out, you're just going to be hit in the face with reality. Society does not care that you've been incarcerated. They don't care you don't have money. They don't care. They just want their money, and they're not going to support you in most cases. And there are a few people, you just have to keep trying. But I found that many women have given up because they have to keep knocking on doors, trying to find employment, trying to find housing. And so it's just difficult getting that footing to find that foundation and that support. And you got to have support. Would you agree?
Absolutely, you have to have support. And I mean, for me, it would have been so easy to depend on somebody else to take care of me, but it was like I wanted to do it myself, and that was important to me.
But there are so many that don't have the confidence
Right.
Their self-esteem is already very little. And so they don't have that esteem or that push to want to try and make it on their own, or even seek help because of embarrassment.
Right.
And then because they don't, that pride, don't want to ask anybody.
That's my problem, is asking for help. I don't like to, I would rather do it myself.
Right.
And
right.
but that's also a problem, like with, now that I'm married, is because I went all that time but doing things for myself, and now I have to share the responsibilities with somebody else and let them help. And I'm just like, ugh. So I'm stubborn about that, but it's good. Like, I'm learning, so I'm a work in progress.
It's okay to ask for help.
It is.
It's okay, and you would, you know, it's really interesting. There's a lot of support out there, because like even with this ministry, when I first started doing this, I had some help, and then the lady that was with me, she moved away, and so I was thinking, and you remember Bev? Yeah, she left me, and I was like,
I love Bev.
I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? She went to Florida, basking in the sun, and I'm here like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And so I didn't know. I'm like, Lord. And so he just reminded me that I put resources all around you to help you. You don't have to know everything. I remember one of the girls in the program used to say to me all the time, Miss Lori, you don't know anything about drugs, do you? I'm like, no, but that's why you're here, so, to help me. So I am grateful for the support and the ones that have helped to grow this ministry and to help the ladies to improve and to find out that they're more than what they think they are, because they really come in thinking, I am nobody, I'm a mistake, I messed up, I can't make it, but they can. You're a prime example. You ladies are. You both are prime examples that you can make it. So what would you say to Christi, what would you say to someone, we have some new ladies, of course our Johnson County side is full, and we're hoping to expand into Missouri soon, and so yes, I know, that's possibly in the works, and so what would you say to ladies that are coming out, and we always keep saying don't give up, but what would you say to them?
Well, yeah, that was what I was going to say, is don't give up, but just utilize your resources, like ask for help, go to you have really good roommates, establish relationships, find a good support group, like find a church, stay involved with anything you can that's positive, so, and have a good relation with your parole officer if you have one, or like don't lie, don't get into trouble, so because don't want you going back to jail. So
you just said something there. So many times they view the parole officer or their PO as the enemy.
Yeah,
they're there to help. I grant you there may be some bad ones out there, I don't know, but they just want to help you stay on the right track, and they've seen so many people that try to run these games and play these games, but just be straight. Just be upfront about things.
Yeah, because they already know the answer. Like, you could lie to them. They already know. They're not stupid. So, like my parole officer, I mean, I'll just call her, listen, this is what I'm going to do, and is this okay? And then, you just tell them the truth. So, they just want you to succeed. They don't want to cuff you or anything.
No.
That makes them, that makes them really sad when they have to do that. So, I don't know. I've only met one parole officer that was kind of a grouch, but not to me, but somebody else. And but they were messing up, so they kind of deserved what happened. So, so don't mess up, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's good. What would you say to anybody?
I think a huge part of it for me was staying away from people changing everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to change who you associate with. You have to change places you go. That was hard.
That's a big one.
Giving up a lifestyle that you were used to for so long, and doing something different.
That's a big one, because they think, okay, now, and I had some girls even say this, okay, I'm in this house and this is a nice house and I'm doing good, I can make it, I need to go back and help them. I need to go back and help my friends because I see they're still on the street or they're still doing what they were doing. And it's like, no, do not do that, because you're not strong enough yet. It takes a while. It's a daily process. Even after you're built up in yourself and your strength and everything, you got a job and transportation and doing good, it's still, do not go back to those old roots.
Yeah. It's like she was saying, and it was the same with me, like when she moved into the house, and same with me. And when I moved in, it was real quiet. And I got that like 2 weeks to myself, basically. But it's just like you utilize that time and just spend time with you and God. And just don't get too busy to where you forget about Him. So, and then, yeah, like those old temptations or all these other temptations, you're out in the world now, and so they're everywhere. So you just have to you have to resist those temptations, no matter what. They could be drugs or sexual relations or whatever. I mean, it's all there, and you just got to turn away from it. So.
And it will come at you through anybody.
Yeah, and social media.
Yeah, social media is a major one.
Facebook. That was a big thing for me. Facebook has too many triggers. So
yes,
and it's just
people can find you on Facebook very easily.
And then they can. It's just like I noticed, like with me, even like Facebook was consuming my time way too much, and then that's where God shut me back down again and sat me back, and it's like no. So so it had to be taken away, but I don't know.
We had one girl that kept changing her name. It didn't matter.
Right.
She was hooking up with all the wrong people on there, and no matter how you get on there, and you wanna in a sense you're proud of where you are and you see improvement, and you're getting on there to say this and share this, but meanwhile the devil is lurking around trying to say, okay, you think you got it now, so okay, I'll put something right in front of you, I'll dingle this little bait in front of you, and then they bite for it, or they're looking for a man, and so they're out there getting all these men and all these things, and so it's one day at a time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Focus on you.
Yeah,
you and God.
That's right. So if you don't know it, we are faith-based, and I tell you, my church of the Harvest, has been a major support. The girls love it, and
absolutely.
You went there, and so I thank God for them, and they love the ladies love them. So again, this is the end of our session, and we want you to tune in next week. Who knows what we may have next week. But I just want you to know that you can make it. You can do this. GROW, Grace Restores Overcoming Women, is here. You know, we do not like to take individuals off the street where we accept referrals through agencies like TCF and the Residential Center. And then I just contacted the Jeff City connection for the reentry program in Missouri. And so there are a couple of women facilities there. So when we open in Missouri, we will be ready to go. So I'm excited about what God is doing. We are here to help. We have traveled down that road, and so we want to support. And so we just want to say, until next time, be blessed.